Hey there, it's Kat and this is Brews and Reviews. So in today's video, I thought I would do something random and talk to you guys about the biggest books that live on my shelves. Because on this channel, big books do not get a lot of love. And that's because I'm afraid of them. I think that they're going to beat me up. No, I mean, they're not going to steal my lunch money or anything, but I am still afraid of them because they take effort. They take effort to read, and my brain cannot. The hurdles, it does not want to jump because book big. So let's talk about the biggest books that I have on my shelves, and by that I mean anything over 700 pages. I don't know if these are the only books over 700 pages that I have on my shelves. These were the ones I could tell were over 700 pages long. So let's talk about it and let's see how many of them I've read. Spoiler alert, there's not many of them. I will just preface this with saying that I've only taken one book out of a series, so if the series has multiple books with over 700 pages in it, I'll just try and pick the longest one out of that series because these are heavy. So the first book on this list is Stone of Tears by Terry Goodkind. Now I will just say that I don't specifically support this author. This was a series that I read a lot when I was younger, really enjoyed, and now I know that the author was a massive misogynist that hated his artists. Ooh. He's also dead, so like RIP and stuff, but you know. Anyway, this book was the longest book that I'd read for a long amount of time. It may still be the longest book that I've ever read. It's 1,056 pages. And this copy was my dad's from like the 80s, so it's very old and falling apart because teenage me used to carry it around in a school bag like it was nothing. Oh dear. Yeah. Teenage me was braver than I am now. So next up we have The Word and the Void by Terry Brooks. Now this is a compendium, I believe. I think it has got like 3 different books in it. It's volume 1. So admittedly, this may be a little tiny bit cheating, but look at how tall it is and how chunky it is. There's 872 pages in this book, and that will probably contribute to why I have not read this book yet. Despite the fact that I really enjoyed the chronologically earlier set Shannara books, and I was really curious about this one. I got it from the library for about 50p, so I don't feel too bad about it, because like chunky, lots of books, lots of words, you know, that was a good deal. But also I've not read it yet, so. Next up we have A Court of Silver Flames by Sarah J Maas. There's 757 pages in this book, and I don't know if that's the biggest one in the series, but it feels like the biggest one to me because I have this in a hardback. And the other ones I have as only paperback. So this one is chunky and tall, and it feels big. I still really want to read that one. I bet you that's one of the first ones on this list that I read eventually. Next year, 3 years from now, who knows? Next up, we have another book that I have read on this list, but not physically, because no thank you. It was It by Stephen King. Wow, yeah, wow. So this one is 1,067 pages long, so technically bigger than Stone of Tears. This may be the longest book that I've ever read, who knows? I enjoyed this book. There are some things wrong with it. I think I've listened to the audiobook twice before, and I'd probably listen to it again, like, in a number of years later, but yeah, it was good. Scary Clown. Next up we have Lion Cub by J.P. Harker. This book is 737 pages long, and it is the 3rd book in the Caledon saga. I'm not sad at all that this book is huge because many things happened in it. Many good things and some shocking things that I will not mention if you've not got this far into the series, but you really should because it's really good. And yeah, this is one of the ones that I didn't mind being long. So that says something about it. Maybe all of these I wouldn't mind them being long, but I do. I do mind. Next up we have another one that I have read and another Stephen King book. Technically this is not part of the same series as it, so I'm counting these as separate books because they are separate bricks that live on my shelves. So yeah, Under the Dome, 877 pages in this one. It was really good, I enjoyed it a lot. I liked how evil some of the characters were and how other people stood some semblance of a chance in this weird dome reality. It was cool, I liked it. Probably didn't need to be as big as it was, as with most Stephen King things, but you know, it was good. And just to round up the Stephen King thing that I've got going on here, we have The Stand. This one's 1,320 pages, and no wonder I've not picked it up, because wow. I'm probably going to buy this on audiobook and read along with it, because I'm not brave enough to tackle it on my own. Also, I just smacked myself in the head with it and it hurt because this is a brick and what I would use to defend myself if robbers came. I'm just kidding, I would beat them with my fists. I can't take myself seriously, nobody take me seriously, this is all in jest, I have a sword. Next up we have The Wise Man's Fear by Patrick Rothfuss. This one has 993 pages in it. It's a chunky beast, and I have forgotten 99% of what happens in this book despite having read it. And I'm mad because the third book hasn't come out yet and I'm going to have to reread the first one, which is almost as chunky as this one, just to remember what happened so that I can read that third book. Just kidding, that third book's probably never coming out and we're all going to be sad about it forever. I feel like this next one is chunkier than it has a right to be. It's 756 pages long and it's Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. If the words were not as big as they were and the margins not as thick, this book probably would not be such a chunkster. But it is. And I really want to read it because Twilight, nostalgia for me. I mean, I want to read them all, but I mean, this is probably one of the more likely to read ones that I haven't read. God, I look so happy about the thought of reading all these big books, don't I? Wow! Anyway, next one, Brandon Sanderson, Well of Ascension. I think this is the biggest one in the Mistborn trilogy. Definitely contributes to why I haven't read this book yet, because I really enjoyed Mistborn and I would really like to continue, but I keep not doing it because she be intimidating. We're going with 781 pages on this one, which I think is rather a lot. And sometimes I do find that Brandon Sanderson struggles with pacing, so like Stephen King, who goes off on his own little tangents all the time. Maybe it doesn't need to be this long. I mean, it probably does. Sometimes Brandon Sanderson's really great with that sort of thing, but sometimes his pacing is off and I don't appreciate it because chonk. And the last book that I'm going to talk about today is Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J Maas. This one is 979 pages long, and I have heard from many people, including Kayla from Crack Into a Good Book, who just read this, that it doesn't need to be that long. So why is it that long? Why is this a thing? Why does everyone make books so much longer than they need to be? I don't always appreciate that. Okay, I rarely ever appreciate that. If a book needs to be as long as it is, fine. I will get behind it and I will enjoy it once I've read it. But if I read a book that is huge and then feel really disappointed because like 300 of those pages could have been chopped out like that, it's just a sad point. It's just a sadness. Get a better editor. Anyway, this is probably going to get read soon as well because it's on my 30 to read before 30 list. So anyway, those are some big books that I have somewhat read some of them, and some of them which I will read soon, and some of them which I will procrastinate probably until I die. It's late, I've had a hard day. I don't think my brain has worked this entire video, so you're welcome for this mess. If you're here and you don't have anything else to say, find me a big emoji. Any emoji that you think looks big. I know that's nonsense. You know, that would be nice if you left me an emoji and you didn't have anything else to say. If you like this video, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!